Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, massive pariah. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Welcome to Forget Work, Watch Films with your hosts, Tony Howe, Thomas Connors, and Robert Connors.
Hello everyone, it's now August, so that means it's over a year. Well, actually, it's a year and 4 days since we did the pilot of Forget Work, Watch Films.
Is it really?
And in a year, in 4 days' time, so it's a year and 4 days since the pilot, and in 4 days' time, it's a year since the first episode.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, considering I now go home to a mansion, yeah.
And get this for a bit of trivia. Next week is our 33rd episode. And guess what else is 33?
You?
Yeah!
Oh.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, and then guess what else?
You?
Yeah.
Not me.
A lot can change
Not me.
a lot can change in a year, but not the hosts.
Yeah.
How are you
a
guys?
lot can change
How are you
in a
guys
year.
doing? That's how we say it every week. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing alright, yeah.
Shit.
I'm doing fine.
Shit, to be honest.
Why?
Got a speeding ticket, haven't
Have you
I?
realised?
Yeah. £100 fine.
And when was it?
No, I went away last weekend and I saw him. He was stood under the sign. I'm in a
Is this when you went to Filer?
Yeah. So I'm.
Without him taking a picture.
Yeah.
Fucking got you.
So yeah, I'm driving along. Cars are flashing me, and I thought, what are they flashing at? Must be a speed camera. I'm looking. No car, no box, yellow box, no nothing. Driving 30 zone. I saw a sign for 40. Speed up, just normal. Doing 30. He was stood under the 40 sign with a handheld gun.
Yeah, but if you've not reached 40, if
Yeah.
you've not reached the 40, then you're not.
But he did me 37 in a 30. I hadn't got to 40 yet. He was stood under the sign.
All right, yeah. So yeah,
Wrong one.
so
I made
you
laughter.
were
So-
you're Reginald Stuff then, aren't you?
But I've had a lot of sort of things swing my way lately. So I think £100 fine, whatever. But it's still bloody annoying, isn't it?
I got a parking ticket.
So basically, the trip to Filey, how much did it cost you in total in fines?
Well, mine
Cost me, well, parking ticket was 70 quid unless I pay it in 2 weeks. That was 35.
So basically, it's cost you 135 to go to
Yeah.
Filey.
Yeah, but my mum bought fish and chips.
Did you see these fish and chips?
Yeah.
Quick question then. We've been doing this podcast for what is effectively a year. Can we call it a year?
Yeah.
We had 3 months off.
No, we can call it a year. It's don't matter that we've we've been furloughed off the podcast. We started it a year ago. We just had like a little break.
Along with everything else.
It was like a mid-season break, like they have in America.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? We did the first pilot at the start of August last year, and then, like I say, in 4 days' time, we did the first episode. So if you've not listened to it, go back and have a listen. Go down memory lane. I wonder what we'd watched on that. I know what we did on pilot episode. We talked about every Marvel film ever made, didn't we?
You know what? It's good.
We had to give it a number.
Hey,
we had to talk about it, and then we just gave up.
Well, no, because we weren't sure how we were going to do it or what the name were going to be. We weren't official. But I'm in charge of the sort of, I don't know, the mechanics and the whatever.
Producing it.
Statistics. The pilot is the most listened to episode by a million miles.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
yeah. So everybody got fed up after that. What is this shit?
You can see people sort of either re-listen to it or they go back and listen to it. I think it's all right. Yeah.
I recommend people, if you are just finding us, go back and listen to some old ones because they are still very relevant. The sort of stuff that we talk about is...
Yeah, but...
some stuff is obviously of the time, but we are talking about, old films, what were happening.
So, since the last episode, you've got a new job, I've got a new job, I've got a dog.
It's only been a week.
Since last episode, don't you mean since the first episode? Right, what you want to say is what has changed from that very first episode, not from last week.
Yeah.
Unless I've been sacked and I don't know it.
Shakira's now 43.
Alright, I weren't thinking straight.
Right, so we'll let you go back.
So what's changed since the first episode?
I've got a new job, you've got a new job, you've got a dog,
World's collapsed.
you've got a new neighbour.
Beirut's blown up.
Beirut's blown up.
Right.
We're not allowed to shake hands.
Yeah. Right. So, I'm going to just start off with what have you been watching this week?
Right. I've got 3 films I've watched.
You go, because I seriously cannot remember what I've watched this week.
What? Oh, that's a lie. So, first of all, I watched 3 movies, yeah? First of all, what would you say if I said to you Palm Springs?
I've watched that.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you watched it.
See, I can never remember. I know I'm supposed to remember
You had one
for this
job.
podcast.
You had one.
Seriously, my brain goes
So,
out.
anyway, right.
So, can I just put it out there? Let's discuss these films without any spoilers.
So Palm Springs is the only movie that's come up lately that I've had any interest in, obviously that I haven't seen, so I was actually really keen to watch this. I don't really want to give away what the premise of the film is, can we?
I would say...
It's in the trailer.
No, I would say it's Groundhog Day meets Lonely Island, and to me,
Meets like Beverly Hills.
that sums it up perfectly.
Well, so simple concept is in trailer. Andy Samberg relives this wedding day over and over again. See, I love Andy Samberg. I love Lonely Island. I'm a massive fan. But this, it's for me, it's his. It's sort of like it's a reflective, yet it's not just a stupid film. It's got a moral to it, and it's good. But I'll say this right without ruining it. If there's one sort of consistent thing throughout the movie, is that it's boring. I'll admit it's boring, but it's one of them boring films.
I don't think it is.
Boring films that you really enjoy. Because I thought the soundtrack, amazing. I love the soundtrack. I love the concept. It's definitely worth the watch. It's a good film. There's nothing bad about it. It's just a slow... but also, it shows you just how great Groundhog Day is. That sort of concept. But they never mention Groundhog Day, do they? Which I thought they might have done. But no, if you get a chance to watch it, it's on Hulu, isn't it? Watch it.
It's a feel-good film, and like you say, it's got a bit of a message. There's some messages hidden in there. I don't think Andy Samberg gets...
Recognition.
Not recognition, but I think he needs a bit more platform.
Yeah, you can
Lonely Island were massive, sort of like
and
early noughties.
He were in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And then they did obviously Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which were his vehicle, which actually got cancelled and then got bought by...
On demand. No, they just brought it back.
It back.
I agree that you can definitely see he's used this as his sort of plateau to showcase his... Because he plays it silly, but not too silly. It's serious.
It's not full-on Lonely Island. It's more like I say, it's like Lonely Island diluted with like Ivan Reitman. It's got that feel to it.
It's definitely one I want to watch. I remember I only watched the trailer about a week or two ago, and I really like
soundtrack's very sort of synthesizer, Stranger Things, classic. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
It feels very indie.
It is indie.
And so, like, you didn't know who Andy Samberg were, and you didn't know who, obviously the last I'd never seen before, but obviously the
J.K. Simmons
uncle. If you didn't know, you'd just think it was just an off the wall indie film.
Well, the thing is with that film, a little bit of trivia for you. It was shown at, I think, Sundance Film Festival, and people went mental for it, and all these studios tried buying it up, but it made the record for the highest film sort of won in that sort of bid, but only for an indie film because it's a low budget film. But it was $17 million, 69 cents, and they added the 69 and there's a bit of a. But yeah, it's a good. Go and watch it. I'd give it.
The only other people I'd seen before is the dad, who's like a person who was always on American TV, and the bloke whose sister's marrying, he plays Superman in Supergirl.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it a good solid 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
7.
What, have we watched out else?
Well, here's the thing. So
Go on,
I
number
know
2.
you've not really watched much else. So I ain't had out to watch. I've got my projector, like I said before, my 4K projector, my movie collection. I've watched everything. But other night I sat down and I put telly on. I don't have to watch telly. But so about 20 to 10 a movie was starting, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch this. I've only seen it when it come out at cinema, and I find it horrible in places. I find it quite intense in places. So Gone Girl.
So what? I loved that film.
Yeah, I've seen
Absolutely loved it.
I've seen it, but obviously I watched it again. First time I were a bit like, yeah, it was good, but you know the second time, obviously you know the concept, you know what crack is. It is actually horrific to watch, because it's all plausible what she does, and for somebody to be that conniving and manipulative and fuck with your sort of life.
Not to do any spoilers.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it's an old film. If you've not seen Gone Girl by now,
No, it's
I
not.
think there's a lot of people who haven't seen it.
No, that's not a spoiler, because basically Ben Affleck is in the most horrific marriage, and like,
or is she in the most horrific
exactly,
marriage?
like but basically it's one of them films I watch it and it does actually give me anxiety because of all what's sort of happening. It's very brutal, but it's directed.
Do you know what it's similar to? What it reminds me of is oh bloody hell, come on, where daughters are kidnapped. Hugh Jackman, Prisoners. It's got that same feel to it where you don't know, you don't know what's going on.
And I tell you what, that is a great film.
I said to my wife, my missus, I said, this is Prisoners, but instead of your children, it's your partner.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, but it's got that same feel.
I said the same other night. I watched it and I find it intense. I find it horrible. It's directed by David Fincher, and all his movies have a similar sort of feel. But I know I'm always like, you know, Chris Nolan's brilliant. Fincher is actually a brilliant director, because Fight Club, Seven, Gone Girl, they've got that sort of real element to them that are quite intense.
I think he's one of the best directors around, David Fincher. He did Panic Room as well, I think. And that's a good film.
He did.
Yeah. It's not an amazing film, but it's a decent
film.
Jared Leto.
One of the films I watched this week is a David Fincher film, but I'll get into that in a minute.
So Gone Girl, I watched it again and I appreciated it even more, but by the end I was just like thinking, this is her. The only thing I'm not keen on is, and this isn't a spoiler, so the main character who's gone missing, Crazy Amy, she's a well-known author, she had an ex-love interest who comes into it about halfway in the help to find her, and it's Neil Patrick Harris, and he is a comedy, slapstick, goofball, probably a bit camp because he did a bit musicals and stuff like that. So for him to be in a hard-hitting film as the other love interest, I think he's very, very odd.
It depends, because I think some comedy actors are really good at moving into that thingy. When you look at, like, I mean, remember that Tom Hanks started in comedy. Robin Williams, obviously, he didn't move into such major, but he's obviously brilliant in serious films.
He did a lot of straight-to-DVD type serious films, didn't he? Like that photography one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Can you remember?
That's Chris Nolan, Insomnia.
Yeah.
No,
but some comedy actors can move really good, but some I know
Robin
what you mean.
Williams, it was Christopher Nolan who did that.
Yeah, it's
I think
Al Pacino and all.
Yeah. But some actors, you do think, I'm waiting for you to crack a joke.
It just doesn't gel with me that he comes in and it's such a serious thing. And Ben Affleck is, he's brilliant in that film. That is a 10 out of 10 film. Don't care what you say.
I went into that film not knowing anything, and that's a perfect thing for that film. Yeah. Basically, like Prisoners.
Do you know one thing that I was quite keen to see in that film was it was out while Batman vs Superman was in production. So a lot of the way through it, I'm thinking, Jesus, Ben Affleck is ripped, because his hench in that film is massive.
Yeah.
Well, thing is with that film, it didn't start till like quite late, and it goes on a while. So I got to the end, and I was a little bit tired, right? So I flicked over, and I was going to turn it off because I thought, I'm knackered, I'm ready for bed. But on the other channel, literally coming on at about 12:05, I think it was Saturday night, was another movie, and I thought I can't not watch this. I have to watch this. It's I'm going to give you a few clues. So it's set in the year 1999. It's action slash what can I say? Action slash biblical.
End of days.
Yeah, end of days. So it started about 12:10.
You're a choir boy compared to me. A choir boy.
I love the music. I know you're not keen on this, but that for me, I don't know why it come out in 1999, so I were only sort of young.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. I remembered every scene, every line. It is unbelievable how many times I've watched that movie. But I tell you something, and can't tell you why. I love the music. I love the cast. I love the style. I love Arnie's he's like an ex-cop he's pissed off, he's angry, he's depressed, he's an addict, he's all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's Arnie versus the devil. For me, I think it's one of my favourite Arnie films.
No. I think it's the cast that is the weak link for me. I think Gabriel Byrne camps it up to like 1 million.
No, he's brilliant.
And he's absolutely fantastic in Usual Suspects. The lass that's in it, she's one of these that becomes popular around it. Do you know when there's always like an actress or an actor who becomes popular?
Like Brendan Fraser.
Like Sam Worthington.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Sam Worthington is Favourite Month and he's in everything. There's
another film she ran around that time. A big film. I can't remember what it was.
But one of the critiques I had watching it again is there's a lot of scenes where like she picks up an apple and she has a vision and she freaks out, but it shows you she sees this apple, it's got like all these souls reaching out to her, and then Arnie sees it as well.
Can I just say what the film was? Vertical Limit. She played Chris O'Donnell's sister
who he has to save, it got absolutely panned.
I love that
because the people couldn't work out the relationship between him and his sister. It comes across right proper like
they're from Barnsley.
Yeah. Those are that.
No, but I'm just putting it out there because that film Vertical Limit came out a few months after End of Days.
Little bit of trivia though. Vertical Limit was the first DVD I ever bought. 25 quid, and I bought it from Tesco's. Now
£25.
Yeah, right. Yeah, brand new.
I paid 25p.
No, I did. I remember going and buying it. I had a new DVD player and I couldn't wait to watch it. But anyway, End of Days. There's a scene where she picks up an apple and she has a vision, and there's all these souls reaching out. Then Arnie sees it at the same time. But it doesn't just let you know they've seen it. You have to have a close-up shot of it. And, and it shows the visual effects are terrible. Absolutely terrible. But Arnie's line when he's in flat with Devil, who's sort of playing with his mind, and Arnie just snaps because he's not buying it, and he's, "You're a choir boy compared to me, a choir boy." I love the scene when he throws Arnie out at window and Arnie's arguing with him. Arnie grabs Devil, throws him on the floor. I love the whole end sequence. I'll not spoil it if you haven't seen it. That is genuinely in my top 5 Arnie films. I love it.
That's the theme song, isn't it? That's a very good theme song. It's so good. When it comes on in film, it's just mean.
Yeah, but Arnie's at end of his tether, and it's Arnie. Come on, Arnie versus the devil.
I know, but it's just... I don't know what it is about it. It's very... I don't know. But I think it's too depressing.
It is.
I think it's too depressing. I think if they played it... Imagine Predator Arnie versus Devil.
Yeah, but that's why it's great. He's a weak.
No, because I think them sort of films where he plays that sort of character, like Collateral Damage, which is horrendous.
Oh, no, dude.
These are the films that are sort of the where they're not very good. When you've got Invincible Arnie who can take on like an alien, or whatever. I
think End of Days was the last truly good Arnie action flick. Because you're right, not long after that he did Collapse. Do you know what other action films out around that time? I think the next one to come out from Arnie was...
Go on.
The Sixth Day.
See, I like that. It's not great.
No, it's not great.
It's great cheesy.
Do you remember a line from that film?
No, not off the top of my head.
When I told you to go fuck yourself, I didn't mean it literally.
No,
but... Your patio's not correct?
No, but... Arnie, a wounded, injured Arnie versus the devil.
No,
I genuinely give it 10
I think
out
you're
of 10.
going to give it a thumbs up. You can give it whatever you want, a middle,
No, I
thumb
love
or
it.
up.
I love it.
No, thumbs down
No,
from me, sorry.
but again,
it's not happening.
It come on at 12, and I was tired.
No,
and
I'd have gone to bed.
No, but it was like gone like 2:30, 3. I was still watching
No,
it. I
I'd
love
have gone
it.
to bed, me. It's one of them films where you think, I'm such an Oddie fan, I'm going to give this another go.
I don't
and I
get
still
it.
feel
I don't
bad
get it.
afterwards.
Yeah, I don't get how you don't like it, but you know
I just
what?
don't.
On that, touching on what you said there, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go. That's happened with me with quite a few films, but one of them is Collateral Damage. It's just absolutely awful. It starts off and it looks okay, but talk about Rent a Bad Guy, and it's just so cliche all the way through.
I'll never give that another
So-
go. I know it's bad.
Right. I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but you know one. You know when you say a film that you've tried to.
Go off on a tangent,
You know,
mate. Go on,
when you just said a film that you've tried to watch over and over, and
yeah.
every time it's the same feeling again. You know what film sticks in my head with that?
Go on, I'll tell you mine straight after, but I don't want to talk about it, but I'll give you a
That's the thing I don't want to, because I know for a fact when I say this film, you're going to say, I love that film.
Go on.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, I love that film.
I have tried
Mine.
and tried and tried.
Mine.
I just don't like that
Resident
film.
Evil.
First one.
First
No,
one. I've never seen any others.
Nobody likes them films.
I know, it's to me. I've only ever seen the first one.
So,
I don't want
My
to go
dad,
into
took
it.
us, my dad took us to watch that because he knew we wanted to see it, and he checked showings in paper, and there were one showing, and he went, "Do you want to go and see that film, Resident Evil?" Like, this is like
You were
2001 or something. I don't know. 2003, I think. And when it finished, even I thought it were awful, and I loved Resi games. And I looked at my dad, and he just went, "I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked by how bad it was.
Yeah.
It's awful."
And it's had
They're
about,
not
what, 8 sequels?
No, I'm not talking about Resident Evil. Keep going.
alright, so the films I watched, obviously we were watching a bit before we started the podcast. Netflix have uploaded all the Jackass films, 1, 2, 3, and then 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. I tell you what, they are so good. You put them on and you just drift away watching them. But obviously Jackass 4's out. I don't know if it's next year or the year after.
It's been moved to next year, I think. I'm a huge Jackass fan.
See,
Huge.
I am, and I'm not. It's not one of them like now. Just when you put them on earlier,
Yeah.
you get back into it, but they're not something I automatically think because they've been on Sky,
Yeah.
and I didn't think, oh, I'm going to watch this.
Do you think they've been kind of
but
like...
I think when you do start watching them, you get back into them.
Yeah.
But they are very of the time.
Yeah. I think they've so for some people, I think they've been kind of numbed down or kind of like nullified by all these fail army videos and all that kind of stuff that you're just used to seeing now. But it's the characters in those films, in it. They're just so good.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have got issues, and I think they'd even admit that they've got issues.
I've met Steve-O. He's living a great life now, and he's sober as out.
Alright, so the next film I watched was classic 90s film, Jim Carrey, The Mask, because it's back on Netflix. I tell you what, I watched it Sunday morning. That is a classic, innit?
It is a good
It's
film.
so
It's
good.
one of them films that I would say is lightning in a bottle. You've got Jim Carrey in his prime. You've got visual effects that fit the film. You've got the concept that fits perfectly. It's just a
I
classic.
love a Sunday morning where you get up and you stick a film on that's very easy going. Like the week before on Sunday I watched Twins. This week I watched The Mask, and it's just like so good.
But I actually think the sequel's better. I know not many people will say that.
Son of the Mask.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Don't intend to see it.
Why?
Why would you?
What do you mean?
Come on, nah.
Close-minded.
Come on,
bull.
no.
Let's just
Joe, when you just know, I don't need to be told that if I run towards that fence, it's going to hurt. I know it's going to happen. I don't need to actually talk
Do you
about
remember
laws
who
of
played?
gravity.
We're not
or
gonna
that.
remember who
I
played.
know that Son of the Mask is going to hurt.
Boy said it were alright.
Well, that is like telling me that it's going to be
you
bad.
By the way,
Oh, wait,
I'm,
who played-
I'm
what do
kidding.
you-
Alan Cummings in it. I've never seen it.
Is it-
It's
I don't
not.
think
No, he
it's not
plays
Alan
Loki,
Cummings.
doesn't he? He plays Loki.
Yeah, he plays Loki. He's main
it's-
character.
It's him from Scream.
Oh no,
I know.
it's yeah.
Come on, let's think of
I
this. Jamie Summer.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah,
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie
Jamie
Foxx.
Foxx.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be better with Jamie Foxx.
Jamie
Foxx.
Kennedy, that's it.
But Mask,
he disappeared, didn't
but
he?
Mask is like you say. Without Jim Carrey, that film won't work. But also, who else did it launch the career of?
Cameron Diaz.
That were her first
And
movie.
it comes on at the start and introducing Cameron Diaz. I love that bit where but just after he's wolf whistling her and stuff, he like gets up from table and he does Taz spin, and then he ends up on stage with it, and they have the best dance sequence. It's like dun 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 dun,
See,
dun, and Jim Carrey proper nails the
Can I
dancing.
just say though, if that was nowadays, if the special effects were too good, the film wouldn't be as good. They fit the film, don't they?
Well, it's the fact that his face. This is why I think he's so good at Grinch, because it's his face, the things that way his face moves and his behaviours.
Do you know what it reminds
and
me of in certain areas?
Go on.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
I know what you mean.
If you were going to do a quote from The Mask, what would it be?
Smoking.
Yeah, I like that. My name is Cuban Pete. I'm the king.
That's not really a quote. That's a fucking song.
The reason why it reminds you of Who Framed Roger Rabbit is because I think there's quite a lot to do with
Looney Tunes,
in cartoons and stuff like that, and I love them old sort of cartoons. Which
Do you know what? A lot of people might not know about this. I'm sure you know. I was reading into it afterwards, and I were actually looking at some of the comics. It's based on a comic, innit?
Yeah.
And you know what? They really look like the look and the aesthetic of like the mask of when he's got it on. The teeth, they look like they really kind of nailed it. Although the comic was very brutal.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really read comics.
What's his dog called? Do you remember?
Milo.
Would you not remember that?
No.
Milo!
Something. I've got a terrible memory anyway, that's where it is. Don't know how you are to remember so much stuff. But I'm a lot older, so I've got a lot more shitty brain.
Let's see if you can guess this next film that I watched. I actually watched this next film today.
Fresh off the press.
So, it's a David Fincher film. And the reason why I watched it is Quentin Tarantino says it's his favourite film of the last decade.
Oh, it's fucking... this is just a guess, but the only film I'm aware of he's done it last decade is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
No. Social Network.
Never seen any of that.
Social Network, yeah.
It was a Social Network.
Have you seen that before?
They're both
Which
fantastic.
Social Network?
Yes, I went to cinemas.
Social Network is the kind of film, right? I watched it. I'm pretty sure I watched it in cinemas. But genuinely, there's some movies that when you you slightly get into it and it's just engrossing. There's no other words. As soon as you're in, you're hooked. It's the dialogue, it's the way it's shot, it's fast paced. One bit I love in that film is when Jesse Eisenberg, aka Mark Zuckerberg, is on trial. They say, "You do know you've sworn under oath." He said, "No." Mark Zuckerberg says, "He's clearly lying. He's lying under oath." Someone says, "You do know he's sworn under oath, so he can't be lying." And Mark Zuckerberg's like, "Well, I guess in the history of the United States, this is the first time somebody's lied under oath." Like the whole dialogue is so
it's a really good film.
When he says something like
so engrossing.
He says, turns around in court and he says, the deposition or whatever his disposition, he says, "It's quite simple really. If you'd have thought of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook." To guys who are suing him.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. There is no other words. It's absorbing, completely engrossing, it's fascinating. It's a brilliant film. David Fincher again, but Girl with the Dragon Tattoo again, that's brilliant.
See, I've never seen any of them, because obviously they were he did the remakes, didn't he?
Yep.
So I've never seen any originals, and I've never seen David Fincher remakes.
Yeah. Can you tell me a few of the stars who were in that film? Apart from Jesse Eisenberg.
There's that guy
Andrew Garfield.
There's Andrew Garfield. There's
go on.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
There's that guy who played Lord Ranger, who plays twins.
Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
You know what's cool? $1 million isn't cool. Do you know what is cool? $1 billion.
Do you know why? You know what, right? I was reading an article yesterday or the day before, and I can't remember what's inspired this article, but it was famous twins from the movies. And that Armie Hammer's characters are actually appear in this list, and I thought, oh, really?
I see if I could. Did you?
I read the list. Yeah.
So, let me try to think some others. Jesse Eisenberg, he's played twins in some of that.
Yeah, he did. Directed by Richard Ayoade, wasn't it?
Might have been.
There are a few obscure ones. I can't remember.
What's his face? Who? Alfred Pennyworth in Batman and Superman.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, Jeffrey Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy
played
Irons,
twins.
yeah, so
Tom Hardy.
he were in this, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
Tom Hardy,
yeah. He were in this.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, he were in this. Double Impact.
Yeah. Jackie Chan.
Ronnie Corbett.
Ronnie Corbett.
No.
You're actually missing probably 2 or 3 of the most obvious ones.
Go on then.
Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And this one actually was...
I bet that was your first call.
This one was actually... They're not even twins, but they said they had to include it just because everybody thinks they're twins. The Shining. They're not actually twins.
Yeah, I suppose.
And obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito playing twins.
Oh,
yeah.
You wouldn't have thought that, would you?
No. There are a
That's
few
a good
others,
film,
but
that.
you'll have to do that when you host next
Yeah.
week. And actually... The other film I watched is the one I saw at the cinemas yesterday. Bum, bum, bum. I went to cinemas yesterday, but I tell you what, it must have been the first time I've been since I went with you in January for Bad Boys for Life. Unless there was something we've seen since, but I don't think there was.
We've not been to cinema since, did we?
So
that went last time for my birthday.
I went to see a film called Unhinged with Russell Crowe. Now, the thing of the cinemas at the minute in the UK, they opened up on... I say the UK, I better just say England, don't I? Because Scotland and Wales are a bit... The lockdown's not the same as ours.
Just say England.
Yeah, so...
It's a Sheffield.
So, basically, I went to see Unhinged, and the reason why I went to see it is it's pretty much the only new film that's out at the cinema, because at the minute, they've re-released loads of old classic movies. Actually, the cinema at the minute, it's okay, it's not too bad. You get there, and there's only one entrance open. From what I saw, the revolving doors didn't even work. You have to go through a fire door that's permanently kept open. And when you buy your tickets, you've got to leave 2 seats in between each group of people. So, like for me and Daisy, there were 2 seats for us to everybody else.
Yeah, but if we went as a 4, you could sit together as a 4.
Yeah, they're not going to say anything to you. There's nobody who's policing it.
No, I think you can anyway. I think if say we went as a group of 4, you can sit in a group of numbers or whatever you are.
Yeah.
But then you've got to leave 2 seats between the next person.
As you get into the foyer, there's stickers all over the floor saying keep your distance, 2 meters, 2 meters. But there's loads of like hand sanitizer stations plotted about, and there's loads of like antibacterial wipes. So you know when you use a machine to pick your tickets up, you have to wipe the screen first, pick your tickets up, and then you have to wipe it afterwards. But everything seemed like it were really... Everything they had in position seemed like it was really good. So I didn't feel like... I mean, I'm not really bothered anyway, but for somebody who's quite worried and a bit on edge about this whole thing, I feel like they could go to cinema and be quite relaxed about it. The best thing were that when I went and gave him the ticket to go in, they're not allowed to touch the ticket or take it off you. So I just held it up and he looked at it and let me in. The reason why I say that's the best thing is because Tony's got this dodgy cinema trick.
so it's even better to be dodgy now.
Yeah.
So, the film.
Yeah, you know what, right? It's so funny thinking about this film, because do you understand what the premise is of this film? Do you know what this film is?
I think Russell Crowe gets pissed off by somebody and he's a
mum and kid and he's driving.
So basically Russell Crowe...
So you do know.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe has put a right lot of weight on, big time. And he basically plays this... I don't want to spoil it, but he's a man going through a rough time. And he gets into a bit of road rage with this woman who's basically like a Karen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they have a bit of an altercation, and he says to her, I'm going to make sure you have a bad day. You have not had a bad... Because she says, look, I'm not apologising, I've had a bad day. Yeah, so he gets into like a road rage altercation with basically a woman who you can only describe as a Karen. And she said she won't apologise because she says she's had a bad day, and he says, oh, you have not had a bad day. I'm going to make sure you have a bad day. And basically, the lengths he goes to and the stuff he does in that film is a man with like nothing to lose. You're just watching it thinking, oh my god. But you know what? I'm not going to lie. Throughout the majority of the film, I'm just thinking, I'm on your side, Russell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's like, she's obviously not likeable.
Well, she kind of is. I could see people liking her, but me and you have worked in retail. We've done our stint. We know them kind of women.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with him last night, Russell Crowe. An interviewer said to him, do you have any sympathy for the character you're playing? And he goes, no, I don't. And anybody who does, he basically disagreeing with it, saying the guy's a monster.
He is big time. Stuff he does is big time monster. It's not a great film, but maybe one day if it's on Sky Movies or something, give it a
Yeah,
watch.
I'll definitely give it a watch.
No, is it worth risking your life over COVID?
Oh no, I mean if it when it comes on
Yeah,
to
no,
like
so-
Sky.
But okay, so talking about cinemas then, all these classic films that have been re-released, Shawshank Redemption, Jurassic Park 1, The Matrix, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, the Cineworld have brought back tons of the classics, Back to the Future trilogy, they've put them all on big screen. Would that tempt you to go back to the cinema? I think it's a good idea.
They ain't got a choice, have they? There's no else.
Do you know what? I'm leaning towards no, because I think, like you got a projector and stuff like that. If you said to me, "Oh, do you want to come round our house and watch Shawshank Redemption?" or "Do you want to go and go to the cinema and watch it?" I'd go, "I'm coming round your house."
Yeah.
It's a much better experience.
I'll be honest, I haven't got an absolutely ginormous screen, but I've got the, that's all you need. It's like 90
Yeah,
inch.
but you've got surround sound. You've got a decent screen. You're going to cinema. It's it's. I find it tedious at best of times. Now you've got to be proper careful and do this and do that. As much as it interests me knowing that somebody's not going to sit at the side of me, I still can't be bothered.
There were a couple of lads sat behind me who were talking through it.
Yeah, no. Straight away, I'm irritated.
Yeah.
I'm done. As soon as somebody sits behind me, I'm irritated.
They were quite busy.
As soon as somebody walks in the same cinema I'm in, I'm irritated.
I mean,
because all I'm thinking is, are you going to talk? Where are you going to sit? What are you going to do? I'm more bothered about what other people are doing than what I'm doing and enjoying picture. I mean, that's why I used to love going to IMAX, and this is why I've always been a promoter at IMAX, and I've enjoyed when we go because we buy alt row art. There's nobody sits behind us because we buy back row of that first segment, and usually because we're surrounded by us, it's just us, and the sound's that booming, you can't hear people talking. So that's why I do love IMAX. But the general going, like you say, somebody talking behind you, I've now paid all that money to be irritated to watch a film that I've got on Blu-ray.
Tony, you haven't paid for a film for a long time.
Well, you know what I mean. Paid with me time.
I know what you mean.
The thing is, all these movies that they're showing, I've got them in 4K.
Yeah.
It's I've got them in 4K. I've got my 7.1 surround sound. I do get that cinema experience. It's not enough to get me. If somebody said, "Oh, come on, guys, we're all going together to watch it," maybe. I know they're showing Matrix in 4K. I've got the Matrix in 4K. It's different. Going at cinemas, I know it's different. It's just I don't think it. I wouldn't look if they said, "Do you want to go?" But I wouldn't go out of my way to ask you to go.
That was the only one that tempted. Why wouldn't you ask me to go?
Because if you wanted me to go, I'd go. But I'm not bothered. I've got it at home.
I'm going to go on Monday and watch Matrix in 4K.
That's the only one that has tempted me, is seeing the Matrix in 4K on big screen.
That's the
only. That's them all that tempted me.
We watched the lobby scene at mine the other day, didn't we? And surround sound blows windows off. It genuinely does, doesn't it?
Blue Claire onto ceiling.
Actually though, it's in 4D. I know you don't 4DX. With the moving chairs.
Can I share a secret anyway with my? No, you already know this. My projector, my 4K projector. I hadn't said this on podcast so for Christmas, Christmas just gone out one before.
Christmas just gone.
Were it?
Yeah, I'm sure it were.
Yeah, it must have.
Yeah,
been.
it were.
So I wouldn't say it's just gone, but yeah.
So last Christmas, my missus got me a 4K projector to upgrade my living room because I've had one for the last couple of years. I didn't know it was there. I walked in, oh my god, what's in this box? 4K projector, look at it, boom, state of the art. So I got it rigged in, I fitted my new cable, my new speakers and all this shit. And anyway, a week later she says, Can I just show you this, by the way? So she bought the projector. See, I didn't want to say
Where
this just in case.
From?
I'm not saying.
Nearly had him.
I'm not saying.
If you're a company that sells projectors and you're missing and you can't find £1,000,
what's the name of the island that Wonder Woman is from?
Themyscira.
No, but what are the
Paradise Island?
What are the tribeswomen called?
Amazons.
No,
Amazonians.
No, it went
it's
from
Amazons.
It went from Amazon. But anyway.
Oh god, I didn't realise they were Amazonians.
So anyway, she showed it me, and it were an expensive one, like brand new one, really expensive. She says, "Look at this." Bought it. It popped up notification through PayPal. Did you a large sum of money has left your account? Did you endorse this? 1 to reply, 1 for yes, 2 for no. So 1 yes, I endorse this. That were it. Half an hour later, PayPal come in. You have had a refund for X amount, and it's a lot. Next day, projector arrived. And that were December last year, mid-December last year. So
if you're working in
no,
accounts,
but listen, we tried.
Or if you've been sacked from a company,
but
because
what would you do? No, go on, what would you do? What would you do? We got back in touch with him and emailed him. Nothing.
I wouldn't have done a thing.
No, I would have.
I would not have done a thing. I would have emailed them. I would have done absolutely nothing.
I would have took the money that I'd have spent on the projector and donated it to charity.
Get lost.
What?
So
anyway, we've got 4 minutes left. So
we're going about projectors. I got one. A 4K projector, brand new state of the art, completely for free.
See, you say what would you do? I'd have been charged twice. So, that's what happened to me.
But yeah, I didn't want to say. But yeah, to answer the question, in cinemas, all the films, I would rather watch them at home, but I'd go if a friend asked me. So there you go.
Yeah, got no friends.
So, right.
No
So last thing I just wanted to kind of ask you. Last week, it was my girlfriend's birthday, and I arranged for her to have a Zoom call, a one-to-one with James Marston, who played Spike on Buffy. Sorry, flock of geese are just...
James Marston's.
That's what I meant to say, the geese put
James Marston's from...
Yeah, I know who he's from. I love Cyclops.
Yeah, she talked it wrong bloke.
Yeah, she showed me his one-eyed monster.
She had a Zoom call with James Masters from Spike, who played Spike on Buffy. She absolutely loved it. Because of the coronavirus and there's no conventions at the minute, that's what some celebrities are offering, because obviously they need to make money as well. I was just wondering who your ideal Zoom call would be with. And try and keep it realistic. Don't turn around and say somebody like Jim Carrey, because it ain't going to happen.
No, Gal Gadot with nothing on.
It's got to be kind of like B-list celeb.
I don't know. That's a hard one, that.
Don't forget our In the Royal and that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you. Do we enough? I don't know, Rob. You take over while I'm thinking.
So if you came home and your missus said, "Oh, by the way, it's your birthday tomorrow," in 1 hour you've got a one-to-one Zoom call with.
It doesn't have to.
With you.
That's what I mean.
Does it have to be like movies, TV shows, music? I mean, you could speak to R. Kelly in prison.
I like...
what you guys don't know is these two are massive R. Kelly fans.
I like Luxby, who does Look North.
Sick bastards. His trial starts soon.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think Steve Coogan.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Steve Coogan, because I absolutely love Alan Partridge.
Would you want him in character, though?
Yeah, if I could, Alan Partridge, I proper watched all. I had even all radio shows because he started doing it on radio, and I had all radio shows and stuff.
I know what it'd be. I've got mine.
Go on,
Kevin Smith.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, it would. You could ask him.
Kevin Smith would be a good one.
Don't take mine.
No, I'm just agreeing it's a good one.
Would you like him like as Kevin Smith or in character as Silent Bob?
No, Kevin Smith. Hey, we talked to Jay.
We've met Jay, and I went to see them both live in Manchester. That were very good. That I went to a podcast recording.
Oh, yeah, one at first Comic Cons we ever went to. We were like, "Oh my god, Jay from Silent Bob is there! Jay from Silent Bob is there!" We get there, we see him, and we're going, "You go again." No, you go.
No, I remember saying to him, "Jay, can we get a picture?" And you were like, "Why do you want a picture? Isn't that a bit weird?" It just like take it piss. Yeah,
he called us all because he saw us staring like weirdos.
Like little girls. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I love them too.
He's going through this. You can get a photo, you can get an autograph, man, for 25 quid, 25 pounds, and we're all going, maybe.
Kevin Smith, because he's writ for everything. Supergirl, The Flash, Batman comics, writing.
Well, I'd be able to talk comics and it'd fit perfectly on this podcast.
He does his own, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, what does he call it?
Smodcast. He does.
He'd ask me to be
Fat Man on Batman. He does all sorts.
I'm like Sheffield's Kevin Smith.
You know, that's Boyd. You're our secondary. If you basically, when it comes to comics, if Boyd don't know, that's Tony.
Lost.
Only thing is with Kevin Smith, even if a film's terrible, is that connected? He'll never say it's terrible because he's slagging his mates off. And that's the only issue. Batman, Superman praises it, but he used to be
more honest.
He's
he got a bit,
So, but yeah, Kevin Smith, 100%.
Right?
I'm still sticking with Lucksmith.
Or Nick Berry from Heartbeat.
I don't know who I would Zoom call.
Nick Berry from Heartbeat.
But that question was to you too, not to me. I was the host this week. Next week, Tony's hosting, I think.
Yeah.
See what he's got to say next week. But for now,
yeah, if I'm your favourite presenter, wait for that. See you next week.
Goodbye.
See you later. Bye.